Senator Ted Cruz is with us here on set. Intifada, the violent uprising against Israel. Are we clear-eyed, you think, on who these people are and what they're actually saying?
Look, unfortunately, we're not nearly clear-eyed enough. This is a radical anti-Israel, anti-American extreme. And more it is becoming the base of the Democrat Party. We are seeing these protests all over the country. We're seeing harassments at college campuses all over the country. We're seeing Jewish students targeted. We're seeing Jewish professors targeted. We're seeing university professors afraid and impotent to do anything to protect their students. And it's disgraceful.
So how do these end?
Look, I think these end when people stand up and say what's right. In the battle between Israel and Hamas, there's no gray there. It is a battle between civilization and barbarism. What Hamas did on October 7th is they went in and murdered 1,200 people. They raped women and little girls. They murdered infants. They murdered toddlers. And those monsters on the street, I'm sorry, when you were cheering, and let me be clear, I have pro-Hamas protesters at my home every Saturday morning for 3 months. They show up at 7 a.m. ringing cowbells, blowing whistles, saying the police are the KKK.
Right. So who is organizing and paying for all
Somebody's
this?
Paying for this.
Do we know who?
I don't know who, and I don't know. Look, the Biden administration is not going to investigate who, but it's clear many of these protesters are on somebody's paycheck. But these protesters, they hate America. Look, we saw last week video of an Iranian teaching radical left-wing protesters how to chant "Death to America" in Farsi. Understand, they despise our nation. And the terrifying thing, Leland, this is not just the fringe. It's not just the Rashida Tlaibs and AOCs and the squad in the House. This is more and more the mainstream of the Democrat Party.
Really?
Yes. Chuck. So let me back that up. Let me back that up.
Okay.
Chuck Schumer on the Senate floor just a few weeks ago stood up and demanded that the elected leader of Israel be thrown out of office. He's never done that for any other country in the world except the only Jewish state. Joe Biden just 2 weeks ago orchestrated a UN resolution effectively condemning Israel for not having an immediate ceasefire. Nancy Pelosi last week signed a letter saying cut off all military funding to Israel. Biden, Schumer, and Pelosi are not the fringes of the Democrat Party. They are the most prominent elected Democrats in the country.
To be fair, okay, that's very different, okay, than what these protesters are chanting, what you just described them doing.
Is it? Joe Biden has flowed over $100 million to Iran. The Ayatollah in Iran, and this happened from day one. As soon as Biden came into office, he began undermining Israel and began giving money to the radicals. Iran, Hamas, who carried out October 7th. 90% of Hamas's budget comes from Iran. 90% of Hezbollah's budget comes from Iran. The Wall Street Journal has reported that the terrorists who carried out the October 7th attack trained in Iran. In a very real sense, Joe Biden and the Democrats funded the October 7th atrocities. And we just saw recently over 300 missiles and drones fired from Iran into Israel. And again, in a very real sense, Biden and the Democrats paid for it. Just 2 weeks ago, I forced a vote on the Senate floor. It's a very simple vote. It said that the Biden administration should no longer give billions of dollars to Iran, whose Ayatollah chants death to America and death to Israel. Every single Democrat but one voted no.
I'd be interested to know who that is.
Bob Menendez.
Okay, so that's Bob Menendez. Yeah. It wasn't John Fetterman, who has had some very, I think,
really has
had some real moral clarity and courage.
I agree.
We'll play one of his sound bites.
If Hamas would just send everybody home and surrender, all of the death, destruction, and misery in Gaza would end right now. Our office will never stop talking about this till everyone is brought back home.
And he's taken a lot of heat for keeping the posters of the kidnapped up there. Just from a political sense, is he on to something? This is a guy who was elected by working-class voters in Pennsylvania. Maybe there's a vocal part of the Democratic Party that is with these folks. But when you talk to working-class Americans, regardless of color, I'm not sure that this doesn't scare them.
You're absolutely right. Look, America stands with Israel. We are a pro-Israel nation. That resonates across the country. It's the radical extremes. You know, there's a joke I'm told in Jerusalem that Schumer's speech denouncing Benjamin Netanyahu was all about the two-state solution, the two states being Michigan and Nevada. Look, there's enormous truth. Schumer is terrified because in Dearborn, Michigan, you have the largest Muslim population in this country. You have radicals who are chanting death to America. These are the Democrats' base. They're terrified of them. They're a fringe, but that's not where the American people are. So is Fetterman better channeling where the American people are? Of course. And I got to tell you, I've told John, I've been astonished at the courage he's shown. I've told him, I said, thank you. But he really is standing alone. Is there not one other Democrat with the courage to stand with him? And if there is, I haven't seen it.
It's amazing that he is the one who's alone. It's really stunning, especially in the Democratic Party.
It is remarkable.
Senator, we appreciate you being here.
Always.
Thank you very much. Good to see you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.